Some games are just legends, absolute masterpieces. But what happens when a masterpiece has one single crippling flaw that nearly ruins a huge part of the experience? Well, that's the story we're diving into today, and how a modern mod is finally making things right. I mean, think back to 2004. When Doom 3 hit the scene, it was something else. It completely changed the game. This wasn't just another run-and-gun shooter. Oh no. This was a full-blown masterclass in atmospheric horror. The way it used light and shadow, the sound design that made you jump out of your skin, it was absolutely terrifying in the best possible way. And that entire legacy, right? That reputation as an all-time great, it was built almost 100% on its single-player campaign. That slow, terrifying crawl through the UAC base on Mars. I mean, if you played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's unforgettable. But there is another side to Doom 3, a multiplayer mode. And for most people, it was, well, let's just say it was notoriously, legendarily broken. We're not talking about a few glitches here and there. We're talking about a fundamental, deep-seated problem that made it practically unplayable for years. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from a Reddit user says it all. The crazy part? That comment is over a decade old. This has been the reality for Doom 3 players forever. If you weren't the one hosting the game, you were basically playing a slideshow, a total deal breaker. All right, so let's pop the hood. What exactly was the fatal flaw that turned this single-player legend into a multiplayer train wreck? And you have to ask, right? How did id Software, the literal inventors of deathmatch, the people who gave us Quake, mess this up so badly? Well, the answer isn't in a bug, it's in the game's DNA. Here's the thing you gotta understand. Doom 3 was a different beast entirely. See, the Quake games, they were built from the ground up for multiplayer. It was their whole reason for being. But Doom 3? Nope. Its heart and soul was that single-player horror experience. The engine it ran on, id 4, was a total rewrite from scratch. They threw out the old QuakeNet code because networking just wasn't the priority this time around. It was all about those scary, atmospheric corridors. Okay, so to really get why that was such a big deal, we gotta rewind the clock a bit and look at how online games actually worked back in 2004. This is a perfect visual of that evolution. Over on the left, you've got the old school original Doom. It used what's called a peer-to-peer model. Basically, every computer is screaming at every other computer at the same time. Simple, yeah, but super easy to break. Then you have the client-server model on the right, which Quake pioneered. It's way smarter. One computer acts as the server, the referee, the single source of truth. Everyone else just reports to it. Now, Doom 3 used this model too, but how it used it was the problem. And this diagram, this is the smoking gun. Here's how it worked. The server knows what's happening right now. But by the time that information travels across the internet to you, it's already old news. You're living in the past. So your computer has to play fortune teller. It has to predict where everyone is going to be. You're basically shooting at ghosts. Ghosts of where players were a fraction of a second ago, hoping your prediction of where they'll be is right. You can see how in a fast-paced shooter, it's a recipe for disaster. And there you have it. An engine that was precision engineered for a slow, cinematic, single-player horror show simply choked when it was asked to run a high-speed, chaotic multiplayer deathmatch. The foundation just wasn't built for it. But hey, this isn't a story about a broken game. It's a story about how it got fixed. So let's get to the good part, the modern solution that's bringing it back from the dead. For more than a decade, more than 10 years, this lag was just a fact of life. You wanted to play Doom 3 multiplayer, you just had to deal with it. It was baked into the game's identity. Until a small group of incredibly dedicated fans said, nope, not good enough. This classic deserves better. And that's where DeMoD comes in. Now, to be clear, this isn't just some little patch or quick fix. This is a full-on heart transplant. The modders went in, surgically removed the entire broken, ancient networking system, and replaced it with a brand new, high-performance engine built for the 21st century internet. So, the big question is, how on earth did they do it? The magic behind the curtain is something they created called the DeMoD Communications Framework. Let's just call it DCF. Okay, so DCF is a four-pronged attack on the lag problem. First up, serialization. Think of it like this. The old game sent data in big, clumsy cardboard boxes. DCF uses protocol buffers to basically vacuum seal that data into tiny, super efficient packets. Much smaller, much faster. Second, transport. It sends those packets using gRPC, which is like upgrading from a bumpy country road to the German Autobahn. It's just built for insane speed. Third, redundancy. This is clever. It adds a smart peer-to-peer system as a backup. So if the main connection stutters, the game can heal itself and keep going without falling apart. And finally, number 4, extensibility. The whole thing is built to be modular, kind of like Legos. This means it's future-proof. You can easily add new features or upgrades down the line. And this chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. It's a total night and day difference. Look at the data format, from clunky, inefficient text commands to sleek, binary protocol buffers. The transport layer? From basic, old-school UDP to high-performance gRPC built on modern standards. And the architecture itself, from a rigid, brittle system to one that's modular, pluggable, and has that awesome self-healing redundancy. It's a complete paradigm shift. Okay, that's a lot of tech talk. Super cool, right? But what does it actually mean for you, the player? This is where it gets really, really cool. Because the DCF framework doesn't care what device you're on. DeMoD delivers true, honest-to-goodness crossplay. I'm talking Windows playing with Linux, playing with someone on their Android phone or their iPad. Heck, you can even play it straight from your web browser. Imagine that. A full-on deathmatch between a high-end PC, a tablet, and a phone, all playing together in the same game seamlessly. And the lag? Remember that lag? Just look at this chart. The original game, you were lucky to be under 600 milliseconds, often way higher. Unplayable. DCF is targeting under 50 milliseconds. And locally, it's less than 1. That is not an improvement. That is a revolution. It's the difference between a frustrating mess and a tight competitive shooter. And just to really drive it home, this isn't some Band-Aid fix. This is deep engine surgery. You're looking at a snippet of the actual code here. They literally went into the game's source, cut out the old networking calls, and stitched in their brand new client. It's fundamentally changing the game from the inside out. So what's the result of all this incredible work? It's simple, really. We finally get the fast, fluid, responsive multiplayer that a legendary game like Doom 3 deserved from day one. The fatal flaw has been corrected. And it just gets you thinking, right? This entire project is just a massive testament to what a passionate community can achieve. It makes you wonder, what other classic games, these flawed masterpieces, are just sitting out there, waiting for someone to come along and give them a second life with modern tech? What's the one game you'd love to see get this kind of resurrection?